It seems the economy is on the minds of everyone these days. These are challenging economic times for individuals, companies, and even our city. Dale Lyman, our city manager, spoke with us about the steps the city is taking now to blunt the effect of the economic slump.
Well, as we all know, the turmoil in the economy has everybody's attention right now, and what we're trying to do is be proactive. We anticipate that there are problems going to come. Right now, the city is not in a problem situation. We don't have a financial crisis. We anticipate we're going to see a downturn in the economy, however, and what we're doing is preparing for that. I kind of use the analogy of a tropical storm out in the Atlantic Ocean. We know there's a storm out there. It's heading towards the coast of North Carolina. You can ignore it and hope that it goes north and out to sea, or you can prepare for it and board up the house or bring in the lawn furniture. That's what we're doing right now, is preparing for the worst with the hopes that, it's not nearly as severe as we anticipate. And we've heard the presidential candidates talk about the analogy of using an axe or a scalpel. We are using the scalpel. And we can do that because of the budget approach that we use every year. Our budget is a results-focused budget, so everything that's in our budget is directly tied to a result that we hope to achieve. And those results are all tied to the strategic plan that the City Council has put together for this community. So it's very easy to identify those things that are really contributing to the overall goals of the council. Keep them in the budget. Those things that are marginal, or those things that we can defer for 6 months, maybe a year, or longer, we're looking at and reducing the budget by those amounts. We're not amending the budget, and we're not making budget cuts. What we're doing is deferring expenses that we feel that we can defer. I want to emphasize that we're not doing anything at this point that will result in a service reduction. We're certainly not doing anything that would affect public safety, police, fire, those departments, emergency services. We're not doing anything along those lines. We're not putting in a hiring freeze. We are looking at deferring some purchase of equipment. We've asked each and every department head to go through their budget, identify areas as small, as maybe $1,000 here and $1,000 there that we can put off and not spend this year in anticipation of a reduction in revenues that come from the state. And that's the approach we're taking. I think that the city of Fayetteville is somewhat insulated from a major recession because of our military presence, because of the decisions made by BRAC. Primarily, if you look at foreclosures, for example, home foreclosures in Cumberland County, ironically, in the month of September of this year was the best September in 5 years in terms of the number of foreclosures. That's an anomaly. However, we're up only 5% for the year over the prior year in terms of foreclosures, whereas the state has seen a 30% increase in foreclosures. So we're faring much better than the state as a whole. However, at the same time, 25% of our revenues are derived from sales tax. When I say revenues, I mean general fund revenues come from sales tax. As more and more people become unemployed, as people tighten their belts, they're spending less, and so we expect to see less in terms of sales tax come to the city. I project that we'll see as much as a 5% reduction in sales tax revenue, which could amount to about $1.75 million. And that's the target that we've set with our department heads to review their budget and try and find, reductions that we can defer expenses somewhere between $1.5 to $2 million that will prepare us again for the storm that might be out at sea. We're monitoring the situation every day, and in fact, we monitor our budgets on a regular basis. Every week, every month, we have regular meetings to review our budgets. But at this point, we're taking some measures to really ensure that there isn't a negative impact on the community as a result of the downturn in the national economy. So rest assured, the City of Fayetteville and the Fayetteville City Council, your management team here at the city is doing everything to protect the future of the City of Fayetteville and to ensure that we have a healthy and fiscal environment here in Fayetteville. I have quite a bit of experience working in the North and particularly in the Rust Belt, what's determined or identified as the Rust Belt of the country. And it seems like for the last 20, 25 years, I've confronted these types of situations where you have to prepare for a downturn in the economy on 3, 4, or 5 different situations. When I worked in Nebraska during the 90s, there was a huge downturn in the economy there based on agricultural downturn, and prices of various products were going down, in particular corn. And so we had to have very lean budgets there for a number of years to make up for those recessions. And I just moved here 2 years ago from the Detroit area, and I remember very vividly headlines reading 47,000 people take early buyout from Ford Motor Company. Well, that has a huge impact on your local economy. Homes go up for sale, people without revenue coming into their household, and obviously sales declining significantly. So we worked in these kind of environments and have gone through these types of situations numerous times throughout my 30-year career in government. And I think we know what steps to take, and we're going to take those steps, and we're taking them early enough so that we're not going to see a crisis situation here as a result of this situation. We're going to have an orderly process put in place to address the downturn in the economy that we expect to see.